For centuries, there's been this powerful idea that's just captivated the human imagination. It's the myth of a hidden kingdom, right? A perfect sanctuary tucked away in the highest peaks of the Himalayas, where these mortal masters are watching over all of humanity. But is it really just a myth? Okay, let's dive into this.
Now, for most of us in the West, this whole story starts with just one name, Shangri-La. It was coined by the author James Hilton, and he painted this picture of an escapist paradise, a place to get away from all the world's problems. And that became the image we all know from pop culture. But believe me, it is just the very surface of a much, much deeper and more ancient tradition.
So if Shangri-La is the Hollywood blockbuster version, what was the original script? Where did this incredibly powerful idea of a secret Himalayan realm of immortals actually come from? The answer? Well, it takes us away from fiction and right into the heart of some really authentic spiritual lore.
So in this first part, what we're going to do is peel back all those layers of fantasy to find the real sources of a legend. And these are names that carry an immense spiritual weight in the traditions that birthed them.
You see, the original traditions, they don't talk about just one place, but several interconnected ideas. In Tibetan Buddhism, it's the kingdom of Shambhala, which is central to the Kala Chakra prophecy. Then, in Indian lore, it's known as Siddhashram, the hidden hermitage of perfected beings, or Gyanganj, which literally means the city of wisdom. These aren't just dots on a map. They are the mystical core of Eastern spirituality.
Now, here's what's really fascinating. The profound difference in purpose. Hollywood, in movies like Doctor Strange, sees these places as some kind of escapist fantasy or maybe a boot camp to get superpowers, but the original texts, they describe something far more serious. A hidden sanctuary for the most advanced spiritual practice, or sadhana, which is governed by a council of enlightened guardians.
And this brings us to the core mystery, a concept that, well, it can be a little tough to wrap your head around at first. These hidden kingdoms are described with this incredible paradox. They are a physical location, and yet they're also something much, much more. This right here is the key to the entire puzzle. The traditions are very clear that Shambhala, or Gyanganj, has this dual nature. On one level, yes, it exists as a real, physical, mystical valley hidden away in the Himalayas. But it is also a vibrational state, a plane of pure awareness that you can only access from within. And this chart just illustrates those two dimensions perfectly. So on one level, you've got this physical place shielded by energy fields where time itself is said to move differently. But on another, deeper level, it's a realm of pure knowledge, the Gyanmaya, which you can only reach through deep meditative states or samadhi. The immortal masters, the Siddhas, they aren't just people living there. They become archetypes of your own awakened mind.
So here's the crucial point. The physical realm's invisibility isn't just for protection. It's actually a teaching. It forces the seeker to stop looking on a map and to start looking within. Because that inner transformation, that's the only key that can actually unlock the door. The outer place helps stabilize your consciousness, but it's the inner journey that grants you entry.
Okay, so if it's not on any map and it requires an inner key, how does a person actually get there? What does that path even look like?
The traditions are completely unanimous on this point. This is not a journey for tourists or for mountain climbers. It's a profound spiritual pilgrimage that depends entirely on your inner state. You look at accounts from masters like Swami Vishuddhananda, who talked about being trained in Gyanganj. He described a process of being taken there by adepts once he was spiritually ready, not finding it on his own.
The path they describe is, well, it's a systematic and incredibly demanding form of spiritual development. We're talking about the full awakening of Kundalini energy, all the way to the crown chakra, mastery of advanced tantric sciences called the Mahavidyas, complete ethical purity, being free from ego, and then finally, the most important element of all, the grace of a living, realized guru. And I really can't overstate this. In all the lore, Guru Kripa, the guru's grace, is the final key. A teacher who already has access acts as the bridge. You have figures like Dr. Narayan Dutt Ramali, who claim to have practiced sadhana in Siddhashram, only to be sent back by his own guru to share that knowledge with the world. You see, the guru doesn't just point the way, the guru is the way.
This all leads us to the ultimate question. Why? Why do these realms and their immortal masters stay hidden? Well, according to the prophecies, they have a profound and absolutely critical role to play in the destiny of our entire planet. They're described as the guardians of world karma. From their secluded realm, they're monitoring the energetic balance of the planet.
They act as a sort of living library, preserving the eternal wisdom, or dharma, in its absolute purest form. And, crucially, they are said to intervene at pivotal moments when humanity is on the brink of destroying itself. Central to all of these traditions is a prophecy that during the darkest period of our cosmic cycle, the Kali Yuga, when ignorance and greed and materialism are at their absolute peak, these masters will emerge from their seclusion to prevent a total collapse and help reboot a new golden age.
Now, the Tibetan and Indian traditions offer slightly different visions of how this event will unfold. The Shambhala prophecy, for instance, speaks of a final king, Rudra Chakran, who leads a great army against the forces of ignorance. The Gyanganj lore, on the other hand, describes a more subtle intervention, a council of siddhas who will trigger mass spiritual awakenings to shift global consciousness from the inside out.
And this brings us to a really crucial distinction. These interventions are not about grand, flashy miracles that would just violate human free will. No, instead, they're described as subtle nudges, influencing world leaders through their subconscious, creating synchronicities, or releasing these waves of purifying energy during global crises to de-escalate conflict and inspire compassion.
And so here we are, left with the ultimate question, the one that really reframes this entire mystery. After exploring the myths, the paradoxes, the prophecies, we have to ask ourselves, is the quest for Shambhala about finding some lost city on a map? Or is this entire legend an elaborate roadmap for the greatest journey of all, the discovery of that hidden, immortal kingdom that lies within each of us?